A public financial management system is a set of rules, principles, policies, and processes that govern the use of public funds across all sectors of the government, from revenue collection to the monitoring of public expenditure. In this video, we will list some of the most fundamental principles of public finance. These important democratic principles should be used to guide the various components of public finance. Welcome back to Public Administration 101. Proudly brought to you by Kano Consultants. For professional advice you can trust. This video forms part of our series titled Public Finance Management. This is where we aim to provide you with a clearer view and a basic understanding of public finance management and the proper administration of government funds. As indicated, in this video, we will list some of the most fundamental principles of public finance. By first defining what public finance is, we will then discuss the various components of public finance. We will further list some of the most fundamental principles of public finance. We will then conclude by discussing the impact and consequences of not adhering to these principles, and how that can lead to an increase in government corruption. Before we get into today's video, we would like to remind you to please check out our other videos on public administration under this channel, and don't forget to support this channel by clicking on that subscribe button. And remember to like this video. Now, let us get into today's video. As a starting point, let us explain what public finance is. Public finance is the management of a country's revenue, expenditure, debt management, and financial administration through various rules, regulations, principles, policies, and processes. Essentially, public financial management is concerned with the management of public funds and government money. Public financial management, or PFM, as otherwise known, is therefore a set of rules, principles, policies, and processes that govern the use of public funds across all sectors of the government, from revenue collection to the management of public debt and the monitoring of public expenditure. Public finance comprises of a number of components, which are public revenue, public expenditure, public debt, financial administration, and economic stabilization. Let's briefly explain each of these components. Let's start with public revenue, which deals with government's income. Some of the main sources of public revenue include income taxes, direct and indirect taxes, public debt, licensing fees, fines and penalties, government surplus, as well as grants and donations. The next component of public finance is public expenditure, which refers to the expenditure incurred by the government and other public sector authorities. This component also deals with the principles related to the allocation of government spending. Public expenditure also deals with the classification of public expenditure and its effect on the public, as well as expenditure policies of the government and spending trends of the government. The next component of public finance is public debt, which refers to the loans raised by the government, both internally and externally. This component of public finance deals with the various aspects of raising public debt and the repayment of such public debt. The next component of public finance is financial administration, which refers to all the financial activities of the government and how to account for the financial transactions that government has incurred. It also deals with the organizing and dispersing of the finances of the state. The last component of public finance that we will cover is economic stabilization, which refers to government's effort to stabilize the economy. This stems from situations in which the country's economy is suffering from stress due to inflation, unemployment, or even deflation. This component of public finance deals with the use of public revenue and public expenditure to secure economic stability and growth. Before we continue, if you would like to find out more about public finance and the management of government funds, please check out these videos on public finance management. We will include the links to these videos in the comments section below this video. This is also a good time to remind you to subscribe to our channel for more content. And make sure you turn on the notification button so that you don't miss out when we post new videos. Now back to today's video. In this next section, we will discuss some of the most fundamental principles of public finance. This means that every public finance regulation, law, guideline, policy, and processes should be based on one or more of the following principles. One of the public finance principles is that every public financial management system must be based on openness and accountability. Every public financial management system must also be based on participatory democracy, which means that the public must participate in the financial decision-making process of the government. Government must further ensure that public financial decision-making processes are fair. The distribution and utilization of public financial resources must further satisfy the collective needs of the public optimally. Another public finance principles is that government employees and elected officials must at all cost remain accountable to the taxpayers, the relevant institutions, and members of the public. Regulations must further ensure that elected political representatives and government officials who are responsible for the collection and spending of taxes and other income are accountable to taxpayers, relevant institutions, and other members of the public. Those elected into office must also follow good financial principles to further be accountable to their constituents. Another public finance principle is that voters and the general public should feel that their representatives have listened to their needs and that they have taken responsibility to meet those needs. Political representatives and appointed government officials must also be sensitive and responsive to the collective needs of the community. Political representatives and appointed government officials must further act with integrity and maintain high moral and ethical standards. Regulations must further ensure that no tax, levies, fees, and other charges are collected from a taxpayer without their consent, and that the tax burden is distributed in a reasonable and fair manner. The government must also ensure that they do not tax only one section of a community and not another. Another public finance principle is that there must be optimum application of financial resources. This means that financial resources must be applied effectively and efficiently to satisfy the collective needs of the public. Government funds and public money must also be used in a prudent and responsible way. This means that the government must be careful in how they make financial decisions and how they spend public money so that they avoid unnecessary risks. The country's constitution and regulations must also make it clear on who has the authority to introduce and collect taxes, and who is responsible for deciding how such funds shall be spent. Another public finance principle is that the execution of budget programs should satisfy the needs of the public. There must also be social equity or justice in the administration and management of public funds. The executive authority should further take responsibility for using public funds efficiently and effectively. Government must further prepare and present a budget which reflects clearly how much funds have been collected, and what those funds will be spent on, and for which public services. And lastly, another fundamental public finance principle is that all activities, relating to public financial management must take place in public and not under the cover of confidentiality. In conclusion, there are consequences for not adhering to good financial principles. One of those consequences is that a weak public financial management system leaves the door open for corruption. This will essentially have a negative impact on public finances, public confidence in the government, the delivery of services, and the provision of public goods. A well-functioning public financial management system is therefore critical to ensure accountability and efficiency in the use of public financial resources. While a weak public financial management system can result in significant wastage of scarce resources. We've come to the end of this video on some of the most fundamental principles of public finance. So, thank you for watching. For more videos on public finance and public administration, please check out these videos under our channel. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And remember to turn on the notification button to make sure that you don't miss out when we post new videos. You can also connect with us and continue the conversation by following us on social media at ConsultKano and tag us using the hashtag ConsultKano. Until next time, check out these other videos. And don't forget to join us again next time for another video. Kano Consultants. For professional advice you can trust.